Okie dokie.
What if he makes it?
He won't.
Come on.
Right.
What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering, and The Matrix Resurrections was bad. Just how bad was it? Because a lot of these films that do simultaneous release, giggity, on streaming platforms and in the movie theater, it's difficult to know really how good it did. I mean, when Black Widow came out, and they came out and said that it had made $60 million in the first weekend from people who paid $30 in addition to their $70 on Disney Plus. I was actually blown away by that. I would think that that 60 million probably ended up being closer to 100 million by the time it was all said and done. And that's a number that can really move the needle in the box office. But how bad did The Matrix Resurrections really do? Well, we now have an idea in terms of, in comparison to other HBO Max releases. And the truth of the matter is, The Matrix Regurgitations was so bad that they have called off any possibility of additional sequels down the road. And the numbers are just as bad as you might imagine. Before we get into the full story, just a quick word from this video sponsor, DealDash. Huge shout out to this video sponsor, DealDash. Have you ever wondered how to strike the best deals and save up to 90% off brand new items without even needing to leave your home? Look no further than DealDash, one of the leading auction sites in the United States with over a decade in business. There are hundreds of auctions daily on brand new items ranging from TVs and laptops to tools and kitchenware and even cars with guaranteed free shipping. All auctions start at $0 and you have a 90-day money-back guarantee on your first bid package. You can use DealDash both on the website, dealdash.com, as well as through their iOS and Android app. Use my unique promo code listed in the description and pinned comment down below for an additional 100 free bids when making your first bid pack purchase and start bidding. DealDash has amazing customer service and they're giving you 100 free bids to start out. Use my link in the description and pinned comment below. Happy bidding. We look at some of the early numbers. Now, it's difficult to, when a movie also releases on streaming platforms at the same time it releases in the theater, it's hard for me to really take their theater numbers too seriously and really kind of shred them, because who knows, honestly? Like, the HBO Max never really tells us what the actual numbers are, although we do know that Godzilla actually did better than Matrix on in HBO Max viewership, but they don't really tell us the full story. And these people, you get somebody to sign up for HBO Max, it's $5 or $6 or $7 a month, but that's in perpetuity versus the, from what I understand, they get half of what the theater gets. So if you pay $15 to get in, the movie, Warner Brothers gets $7.50 one time. So the actual long tail revenue of somebody signing up for their platforms is far better than somebody seeing it in the theater. But you can see this by Mendelsohn, why Matrix Resurrections was a box office disappointment. Well, I feel bad for the reviewers of this film, because with a 63%, I know that a lot of that is coming from people who just like Keanu and don't want to completely tank the movie, because The Matrix Rehasherations or whatever was a, by the way, that's a critical drinker bit, obviously, but it was not a 6 out of 10. I mean, I'm not saying the movie was a 1 or a 2 or even a 3, but I'm not going to entertain any scores higher than a 5. So it's slightly higher, but that's the Keanu halo effect, I would guess. You see, Samba TV reported yesterday that The Matrix Resurrections was viewed about 2.8 million times by HBO Max subscriber households over its Wednesday to Sunday opening. The like-to-like comparisons put Matrix 4 on par with The Squad at 2.8 million households along a miserable 26 million Friday to Sunday debut, higher than Space Jam: A New Legacy and Wonder Woman 1984, but below the likes of Godzilla vs. Kong, Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat actually did a full million more. As we've seen with King Richard and The Heights and Malignant, all great, good to great movies. And frankly, every Warner Brothers 2021 release, save for Mortal Kombat, the films that initially excel on streaming are the same ones that excel in theaters. All of this is due to underline that HBO Max did minimal damage to The Matrix Resurrections' immediate box office fortunes, saying that it would have done fine in the theater if it was a good movie. It just wasn't. The miserable $12 million Friday to Sunday, $22 million Wednesday to Sunday domestic debut was more about The Matrix Resurrections stinking than the COOF variables and HBO Max availability. Keanu Reeves' pricey, at least $150 million sci-fi action sequel sold viewer tickets over Christmas weekend than his forgotten and slightly underrated $170 million samurai actioner 47 Ronin. So what if I told you that Matrix Resurrections was never going to be a hit even without the COOF and HBO Max? First, credit Warner Brothers for spending oodles of money letting Lana Wachowski run wild in the world of her creation while crafting distinctively deconstructive riff on legacy sequels, IP recycling, and toxic nostalgia. It's a sequel that's more of an epilogue than a relaunch. However, Warner Brothers was absolutely going to make a Matrix movie with or without her. And you saw this kind of throughout the movie where they made kind of little subtle digs about it. But here's the thing, and Drinker pointed this out in his review too. You don't get to like maintain your cred by making fun of it while you're making the movie, and also cash your check, and also be devoid or be immune from criticism. They've long thought about a reboot prequel starring Michael B. Jordan. Resurrections outright states that getting the original gang back together was merely a bonus rather than an essential element, that Miss Wachowski returning along with the Reeves and Carrie-Anne Moss was partially a matter of not wanting anyone else to mess with her franchise. Going back to The Matrix was inevitable no matter who was at the wheel, so we can fairly look at why it was doomed proposition. Star Wars The Force Awakens, $937 million domestic, argued that legacy sequels were more viable than remakes and reboots, and to an extent that's still true. However, in terms of legacy sequels that came just before or just after it highlights Star Wars Episode 7 was an exception to the rule, both regarding budget and audience demand. I mean, the movie stunk. The Matrix Resurrections was sold as, quote, another Matrix movie. The spectacular first trailer only really works if one is already aware of the Matrix series and predisposed to want another one. Likewise, the spoiler-free marketing was meant to inspire confusion about things that were explained early in the 150-minute film. Spoiler-free marketing is ideal if you know what you can get them. You know you can get them in the door. The Dark Knight, Frozen, and The Force Awakens. But there is a difference between selling a narrative while leaving out the key details, like Free Guy, or deceiving viewers, Spider-Man's Far From Home's multiverse tease, and offering up context-free montage like Blade Runner 2049 that merely advertises that a given franchise has returned. That's especially true when The Matrix Revolutions ended with its primary conflict resolved and the two protagonists died on screen. Yeah, I mean, ultimately, and now we see, after abysmal opening weekend, Matrix Resurrections producer says there are no plans for more Matrix movies. According to the numbers, the film only grossed $12 million in its opening weekend, and although since the film opened on Wednesday, it grossed $22 million on a 5-day opening, at the global box office, the film is raked in $44 million. That means its worldwide gross is $67 million. The film reportedly had a budget of $190 million, meaning it would needed to have grossed around $475 million to break even. Clearly, it's nowhere near that number and will likely never hit it. Yeah, Matrix Revolutions is going to lose 200 million. I think that's a very conservative estimate. I mean, best case scenario, this movie loses 100 million, which, I mean, good, honestly. Good. There should be a financial punishment to try, forcing people to rehash and re-go through and then go back and, subvert expectations and ruin things for existing fans. I mean, we shouldn't continue to pay mind to these things. And we saw, for comparison, Samba claimed that Dune was watched by 1.9 million households during its opening weekend on HBO Max, except that film's opening weekend was 41 million, and it's gone on to earn 107 million domestically and 400 million globally. Even that is like tight, kind of break-even numbers for Dune, which I watched as streaming, not in the theater, but a lot of people wanted to watch in the theater. So I say good that this movie lost money. I'm sorry for Keanu's, a little blip on his legacy, but he still got paid, and that's ultimately what this has been all about. I'm glad people resisted paying money to see this, and hopefully it will continue to further disincentivize ruining our beloved franchises from our past, although I doubt it. Hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.